Secrets to Abundant Living podcast community. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Amy Sylvis. I am your host and really excited to have you all here for a solo episode today. This episode is going to be quite different. I thought long and hard about sharing this, but since it is graduation season, and I think, I don't know, it feels like the right time to share this. I'm making this way more dramatic than it needs to be. Gosh, so this was 2009. So 17 years ago, a pharmaceutical manufacturer reached out to me and they wanted to do a kind of encouragement and inspirational video series for people living with cystic fibrosis. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the people that they chose. What follows is a several part video series that featured my MBA graduation. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, I'm sharing it with you because, severalfold. One is I don't often talk about my story. I mean, I do, but I don't. And I think getting my MBA with cystic fibrosis from a top 25 university was really important to me. Not for the accolades, not for the bragging rights, but because I think I'm encouraged and inspired by people doing things that they shouldn't be able to do. And, I think it's really important to share. I think all of us have stories like that where things turned out better than they should have. And in kind of the state of the world today, I want to be part of giving encouragement. And some of it is, 27-year-old me sitting on the 50-yard line of the LA Memorial Coliseum doing an interview because I was asked where on USC's campus would I most like to do my interview, and I could not think of a better location and a place that would give me more joy than on the LA Memorial Coliseum field. So first is to give you encouragement. It's still really awkward, I'll be candid, to share my story because, we all know those people that kind of brag and say, look at me. And that's truly not my heart in this. But I do think stories like this can show others what is possible. And what really spurred this, I won't make this intro too long, but I did talk to a father in his early 30s last week who just had a baby girl that was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. And very fortunately, a friend connected me with him and he wanted to know what about how my parents raised me and how I designed my life that I would do over again as a person living with CF, kind of, what worked, what didn't. And it really made me reflect. And this kind of video came up in my mind. And thank God this little baby girl will not know the horrors that most people who've lived with cystic fibrosis throughout all of human history have known. And I'm overjoyed for that. And it was so great to be able to tell this new father this information, but I still think the story is relevant and encouraging even to those who won't suffer as much with CF. Okay, that's the first reason. The second is to talk about and highlight that all of us have an inordinate amount of people in our lives that help us along the way. I do not subscribe to this notion of we all are kind of self-made and do it on our own. I just don't. And you can debate me in the comments. That's perfectly fine. You can tell me I'm wrong and that's perfectly fine. But what I love about this video is I am the subject, but I'm so far from the subject of this story of being born with CF and, supposed to live and maybe not make double digits and then going on to get an MBA from a program and, somehow managing to get through that without completely losing my health. I love that this story highlights all of the people who helped me get where I was able to go. My family, my friends, my professors, physicians, scientists, healthcare professionals. I mean, I love that all of that is highlighted because it shows that I am simply the sum of all the people that have chosen to pour into me and how truly, truly blessed I am. So if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anything, well, actually not Spotify. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or anything where there isn't a video, I'd highly recommend heading over to Spotify or heading over to YouTube so you can actually see the video. Full disclosure, this was a video on a website from 2009. So this isn't going to be super high def, but I think it's really fun to share. It has some emotion, it has some fun, and I hope that you find it encouraging and maybe it'll make you smile. All right. Thank you all. I look forward to your feedback on the episode. Talk to you soon.
It is Go-To graduation, and we'd like to welcome you to Los Angeles. Now, the reason that we're here for Go-To is because we are capturing the story of a young woman named Amy who is about to graduate with a master's in business administration from the Marshall School of Business at USC. Now, when I talked with Amy, I said, Amy, you can be interviewed anywhere. Where would you like to be interviewed? She said, interview me on the 50-yard line of the LA Memorial Coliseum. She is a huge USC Trojans fan, so let's go down and meet her and find out what makes her so special to everyone who knows her.
Only in my wildest dreams would I imagine I'd be sitting here at the 50-yard line at the Coliseum. I've spent so many years up in the nosebleed seats. It's incredible. My father started taking me here to football games when I was little. I've actually been here to every home game, except for one when I was in the hospital since 1998. Although I grew up with cystic fibrosis, I never really was told that I should have limits because of it. So shooting for the stars is, and shooting for a graduate degree is something that really came naturally to me. I've always had the expectation that I would live a long life and be able to accomplish my goals. So for me, this is just another step in my journey in my life. To accomplish those goals despite the struggles that everyone goes through with cystic fibrosis. I do frankly have some obstacles in my way in terms of health and what I'm able to do on a daily basis in terms of energy and compliance with my cystic fibrosis routine, and walking across that stage will be an accomplishment of one of my BHAGs for sure. BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal, something I like to set for myself at various goals and points in my life. When I first got to USC for my undergrad experience, it was very exciting, probably one of the most exciting points I had had in my life up until then. I was free. I was about to embark on a new adventure, something I'd never done before, living apart from my parents, a great goal of getting a degree and furthering my education. Something that really helped me was being very candid and open about my disease. The summer before I moved into the dorm, I told my roommate about the disease. I told her that I have some medication treatments to do, but I'd be more than happy to work with her and her schedule so that I didn't disturb her too much. Anyone that has a vest or an aerosol machine knows those things are super loud, but just having an open mind and an open dialogue with my roommate helped a lot in helping us both adjust to college living and getting along well in a dorm setting. I have to be very dedicated to my needs. It's, I think medication compliance and exercise and proper rest and nutrition is really one of the keys to prolonging my life and keeping me healthy and happy to be able to do the activities I want to do in my life. In order to accomplish the goals that I set and to live the balanced life that I'm interested in, getting straight A pluses comes at a price, whether it's academically, health-wise, socially. So in terms of kind of graduate school teaching me to smooth the edges or become a B+ personality type, I think it's helped teach me that balance that we all wish to achieve in life. And I think I'm a better person for it. It's been an incredible accomplishment. It's been a journey, and it's really taken a whole team of people to help support me and get me through this experience. But it's something I can't help but smile about. It'll be a great accomplishment, and although I don't like to have CF define me, it's still part of my life, and it'll be back in the back of my mind thinking, despite that struggle, with all the incredible support I have in my life, I was able to achieve this. I'm the first person in my family to get an undergraduate degree, let alone a graduate degree, and it's fun to be able to look in my parents' eyes and know that this is something that they can enjoy and that has a lot of meaning for them as well, because what parent doesn't want success for their child?
Amy's professors, those educational leaders who called the plays during her 6 years at USC, gained as much from Amy as she did from them.
She's kind of like, to me, and I think to a lot of her, even to her classmates too, sort of like the North Star. As odd as it may sound, that analogy, we look for her for direction and for inspiration, and I think in particular a lot of her classmates really see her as someone who guides them in many ways. She's so committed and so driven that we find inspiration and direction from her.
Professor McCann was exceptional, not only in the classroom when I was healthy, but also helping me when I was ill at the time.
I received an email from the administration saying that one of our students was in the hospital, and then she followed up with her own personal email to me. So I didn't even realize that she had cystic fibrosis until I received the email.
And you have the email with you?
I do, and this kind of tells us a lot about Amy.
I had a presentation that I had to do in front of the classroom that was due while I was in the hospital. And it was not just a presentation with myself, but I had 4 of the group members I had to do the presentation with.
She says, "Bob, I'm sorry to report that I will be in the hospital for 2 weeks due to complications of my cystic fibrosis. It is my every intention to keep up with my group project due next week."
So being the, I guess, type B plus personality I am, I really wanted to make sure I did the project, I did the presentation on time. I didn't let my teammates down.
Fortunately, I have my MacBook and Wi-Fi with me at the hospital, so using technology, hopefully, Group 6 won't miss a beat in our presentation.
So Professor McCann actually let my team and I film my part of the presentation. I was actually at home doing home IVs at the time, in the comfort of my home with the IV pole coming out of my arm, so I could be a part of the presentation. They took the video, they embedded it in a PowerPoint slide, so I actually appeared on the screen, taped, while my other fellow teammates were doing the presentation.
Okay, so what grade did you give her?
Oh, I think we all know what grade she got in my class.
My name is Jim Ellis. I'm the Dean of the Marshall School of Business at the University of Southern California. Been in this job for 2 years, and I love my job because I have 5,700 students that are brilliant young minds, and I get to spend every day with them.
I don't know if I really have the words to describe Dean Ellis.
Amy Sylvis was a student of mine as an undergrad, and she walked into me the first day of school, and she explained that she had cystic fibrosis and that there would be times in class when she might have to get up and leave because she had a coughing spell. And please don't be alarmed.
I met him when I was an undergrad here, when I was probably just 19 or 20 years old.
She sat in the very front row of my class, so I knew every time she coughed, and I'd panic a little bit when she'd cough twice. But so other than that, she's just a normal, highly enthusiastic, very dedicated, hardworking student.
He gave me so much inspiration in terms of what I could accomplish in my career and just as a person as a whole.
And we all know the amount of work she has to put in before she gets to school, before she goes to bed, all the things she has to do in her life just to be normal. And you have to respect somebody the way they put in the work ethic to get that accomplished.
He just has this attitude of, you can do anything as long as you put your mind to it.
She and I have had a very good relationship for many, many years, and she's a very special young lady, and she's pretty terrific. I'm going to be really proud of her walking across that stage for graduation.
Being here 6 years later, shaking his hand as I walk across the stage to receive my MBA, it's really hard to wrap my mind around, but it's going to be very joyful and exciting and incredibly meaningful as well. He's such an amazing man.
We've shown up early to help prep the food and to get to know Greg and Sue just a little bit better. Sue wasted no time putting Greg and me to work. Like her daughter, she knew just what she wanted.
So these are just appetizers, so if you can wash these off, cut off the ends, and then we're going to cut them in just regular slices. Put a little dip thing on them,
Okay.
and then put them on things. So,
Okay. You wanna
I'll
wash
get
those
everything
off?
out.
Absolutely.
All right. Now tell me, while we're getting things ready, I want to know what it was like last night.
Oh, it was so great. It was so exciting. It was just amazing to it finally hit us that she worked so hard and got her MBA, and she's come this far. It just really is amazing to us. Something we never thought we'd see.
Going back to those early days, tell me about that. What was that like for you when Amy was first diagnosed?
Hard to figure out what was really going on at the time.
Greg spent a lot of time at the UCLA library, actually, and he was Xeroxing
I was on a mission.
every single
I was
thing he could
trying to
find
figure
out
out
about
what the
CF.
cure was, and I went there to try to figure it out, and
I know, but you were trying hard.
so usually I can, fix things, and this I can't fix.
It gives me goosebumps to think of you sitting, kind of by yourself in the library, reading through these things.
Yep.
And what went through your head when you were doing that? I mean, as you kept running into can't do anything.
Loss of hope.
As Amy grew older, Greg wanted to share something more than the CF battle with his daughter, and he did so at the LA Coliseum, watching the USC Trojans confront their own demons. Father and daughter have been to every home game together since 1998. What is so special about sharing this with Amy?
I don't know.
You get so emotional about this. Why does he get so emotional about this, Sue?
Because he just cares about her and loves her so much that he can't talk about it. It just kills him that she's sick and that he can't fix it for her, and no.
That's it?
We don't take any birthdays for granted. We don't take anything for granted.
Right.
I mean, every day is just amazing when she's healthy and still alive and being able to do things, so.
She's chosen not to just feel sorry for herself,
That's right.
and she's found that other people are worse off than she is, and she just when you look at life that way, I think it's hard to find something to complain about.
I don't say it that often, but when, she's really sick and things,
We were supposed to
sometimes I
chop
say,
water, no.
oh, I'm so sorry you had CF. I just wish you didn't, have to suffer like this. And she says, Mom, I've got so much. The rest of my life is perfect. I've got so much and so many friends and family that care about me that it's just not a big deal.
She doesn't give up, I guess. She just keeps trying.
Amy and Greg's love of Trojan football became, as they both admit, a bit of an obsession. Case in point, the life-size Trojan the two cart down to the corner of their street on football weekends just to irritate the UCLA fans walking by on their way to the Rose Bowl.
People would come up and start posing next to it like that, and then somebody came up with an idea and said, hey, let's charge him and give some money to CF. And then when we started saying that, people started going, wow, that sounds really good. I'll, do it for that reason. So all the UCLA people weren't really that bad after all.
So what happens if Amy decides to move away and you can't go to the darn games? Will she fly in for that, or have you guys ever discussed
Never
this
thought
possibility?
about that. Yeah.
She's actually said she wants to stay nearby because the support system is so important to her.
Describe the perfect USC game with Amy.
Oh, when we go to beat UCLA, of course.
Okay, besides that.
When we go to beat Notre Dame.
And the perfect game of life? Winning against CF, of course. Fight on, Amy. As far as Amy's dad, Greg, is concerned, no party to celebrate his daughter's accomplishment is complete without a life-sized Trojan warrior standing sentinel at the front door. The Trojan, a gift from Amy's mom for Valentine's Day, has become a valued member of this USC family. Decorated in cardinal red and gold, the Trojan welcomed a house full of friends, family, and food to Amy's graduation party, a party the graduate had been anticipating all week.
I'm fortunate to have a very large extended family, so almost all of my mom's 9 brothers and sisters will be there, along with my cousins, my grandmother, her sisters, and their families. So it'll be a big, joyous event, something that I'm happy to share with everyone in my family.
We took advantage of the gathering to talk with a few of the people who arrived to celebrate the new USC grad. We wanted to definitely check in with Grandma, otherwise known as Cheryl. Cheryl, it's nice of you to sit down and chat with us.
Thank you.
Pretty big day.
Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful.
What does it signify to you to see Amy graduate like this?
Well, her tenacity. She hasn't always been well, but she keep going anyway.
What does it mean to have somebody with CF in the family? How has it impacted the entire family, do you think?
Life deals you a lemon and you make lemonade, and that's what we've all tried to do. We're a very supportive family, very supportive.
Amy grew up an only child. She didn't have brothers and sisters. She did, however, have a cousin who was very close in age to her and who was as close to a brother as she was ever going to have, and we're chatting with him now. Kevin, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Actually, I guess you were already here. We came in, right?
Yes, thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
When I look at Amy, I think, wow, I can't believe that with CF and with everything that she deals with day in, day out, she's able to accomplish everything that she does. She's such a strong person, and that she's just able to get out and, you know, grab an MBA. She just has so much strength. You can't stop her.
The unstoppable and flappable Amy.
Yes.
Amy's main squeeze, who also graduated from USC's Marshall School of Business the night before, stands in admiration of her sense of purpose. What was it like seeing her graduate last night, knowing how hard she's had to work to get to this point?
You know, her accomplishment is much more significant than I feel like that mine was, and our other fellow students that don't deal with CF, being that she has to wake up, you know, she had to wake up earlier every day, and she had to, you know, it's, I guess, like 2 to 3 hours every single day she needs to take care of CF, and, you know, I know business school was tough, but having to do that on top of that just makes her accomplishment even more impressive.
Pretty special person you're dating there.
Very, very special.
And joining me now is Aunt Carmela, who has known Amy since she was a little itty-bitty girl. And I'm really glad to talk with you today. Tell me what you were thinking last night when she was receiving that MBA.
Well, did you see us jumping up and down in the grounds with the signs? To get her master's degree, to be the full, consummate, educated young woman that she is. Amy has lived her life to the fullest. She doesn't look back. She doesn't stop. She doesn't ever make an excuse for anything. So CF is not an excuse in her life. It's part of her life. It's a hurdle that she just keeps crossing. I call her the best track star ever. She just keeps hurdling over those hurdles as if, you know, okay, I got to do this. I keep going.
And going and going and going. Pacing herself carefully in order to put her health first, certainly, but this woman just does not stop. In typical Amy style, she's already on to her next goal, buying a house. If her past is any indication of her future, she'll be checking that off her to-do list before the USC football team can add another Heisman to their collection.
Welcome to the University of Southern California, the best university in the United States, home of the USC Trojans, where I've spent 6 of the best years of my life. I'm in front of the USC shrubbery. You can see the USC. And here in the center of campus, getting ready for the graduation ceremony that we'll be having. So we all know why I really came to USC for the football. Check out all these Heisman trophies.